I'm on here pretty late. $10:01. 1 o'clock. I wasn't gonna get on here, right? But I was scrolling and I was coming across a lot of talk about the mothership on my FYP. Heard a lot of talk about the mothership. I said I wasn't gonna get on, but here I am. Let me take it back a little bit before I even go here. Before I go here, I'm gonna go here. Before I even go there, before I even get to the mothership, before I even go there, I'm gonna go here first because we've been lied to. We've been lied to, you know? We've been lied to. They've reset after reset after reset. That's why you don't remember. So, first off, you gotta start asking questions. Thank you for the roses. I see you. You gotta start asking questions. You know, some of us may not be comfortable with asking questions, but you have to ask questions. You can't leave no stone unturned. You have to ask questions. And when I say ask questions, I mean ask questions to yourself. You don't need to ask anybody outside of you the question. Ask yourself the question. Remember, you are source in physical form. And also remember this. Where we are is 3D. Where we are is 3D. Even when you look at this map. Because see, we are in the center. Alright? We are smack dead right above the motherfucking black sun. We're right above the black sun. Alright? And the black sun is what's responsible and what manifested and created all of this. This whole shit. But remember, this whole shit you see is 3D. It's 3D. Nothing higher. It's 3D. Remember this as well. You are above 3D. You're 5D and higher. Alright? You manifested into 3D. However, the black sun, the void, which is in the center where we are, right above the black sun. Hold on. Let me give you a little visual. And what's responsible for all of this whole shit. But remember, keep in mind that all of this is 3D. 3D. You come from 5D and higher. You manifest it into 3D. So automatically it makes you above all of this. Now understand this. We are not the only beings. There are other beings. Where you see all of these different domes. This is what we call districts. These are different districts, okay? This is what they call Nibiru here. This is where the so-called Anunnaki reside. Now, they, on the other hand, hence, they come from 3D. He says again for the ones in the back. I think we're getting a little green hearts in the comments. If you still rolling, if you're not lost at this point. Green hearts in the comments if you're not lost at this point. I'm gonna get somewhere with this. And then I'm gonna take it to the other picture that I just put up here. Alright, so we are here. Let me give you the visual of the black sun that I say is responsible for all of this. Alright, we're smack dead on top. Alright, this is what you call the black sun. Alright, or the eye. If you look at this shit upside down, it look like an eyeball. Alright, the black hole, the void, the black sun. Alright, like I told you, we are over top of the motherfucking black sun. Now I'm gonna go back. Let me go back. Now I just told you the black sun, which is responsible for the whole situation, manifested this 3D here. Hold on, let me show you where we are and where it manifested this 3D. Hold on, where the hell is the picture at? I got so many pictures. Hold on, sit tight. I'll be having to scroll back and forth. Alright, so the black sun, which is here, which we are here. We're in the center, alright? Keep this in mind. We're here. Smack dead in the motherfucking center. Right above the motherfucker. But it's responsible for this whole situation here. Alright? We're not the only beings, alright? So, everybody talk about the Anunnaki. Right? Now, if the Anunnaki is in physical form and they exist in physical form, I'm going to say that the Anunnaki was created here on 3D. Remember, we are 5D. Okay? We manifested into 3D, and when we manifested into 3D, we manifested here. Tiamat, or Tartaria, or Atlantis, or whatever you feel comfortable calling it. Planet Kai, if that's what you want to call it. It's called Planet Kai. That's a long story why we say Planet Kai too as well. If whatever you feel comfortable with calling it. Alright? I say Tiamat. But it's all, I say yes to all that shit. Now, we come from 5D. Alright? So we manifested here into 3D. Long story short is, the Anunnaki were created on 3D. Alright? They were created here. And where they reside, what they call is Nibiru, you see two suns here, but their sun is very dim. Okay? You see it's very dark here. Alright? They're not more, because people want to give the Anunnaki more credit. They're not more powerful than us. Alright? Okay? They come from here. Their shit is dim here. Okay? So what they did was they invaded, and when they invaded, they interrupted our civilization. Okay, they interrupted the civilization here, and then they needed beings to go ahead and mine for them because they needed resources for their district. Okay, for their district. This is the word on the curb. This is the word on the streets. This is what they saying. So with that being said, right, this is where the Neanderthal come into play at. All right, and that particular DNA is heavy and strong in the Neanderthal. All right, their DNA, Anunnaki. Let's not get it twisted. And I'm talking about this in the 3D aspect. Okay, because if I talk about this in a higher aspect, then There's no physical bodies when I talk about Anunnaki and all that in the higher aspect. But on the 3D aspect, because we on 3D here. Remember, we're still on 3D. All right. So, as you can tell, they couldn't do it because they don't have as much melanin as we do, and it's not as strong as ours because we have different melanin. You have neuromelanin, you have U-melanin, okay? You have melanin. So they can't take the sun as much as we can. Understand that. Understand if they do exist on the 3D, why the fuck you think they ain't just come here and stay here and just take over this motherfucker and say fuck Nibiru, because Nibiru is some shit. They need too much shit to keep Nibiru going. They invaded, we went to war with them, they won the war, so why the fuck didn't they just take over the whole shit? They couldn't. This is where the Neanderthal come into play at. Alright, and this is what they mean by they had to keep going back to the lab. Like they didn't get it the first go try. They didn't get it the first go round. They had to keep going back. Hold on. And evolve their creation. Hold on. They had to like evolve. They had to evolve. They had to evolve to get them to be able to do what was needed. Let me take this off. This is why the hell the government, this is why they keep coming out talking about they're returning and they coming at this time, they coming there on this time, they coming that time. If they fuck with us, why would they be telling y'all when they coming? Why they ain't hollering at us and saying, yo, we coming up, you know what I'm saying? Get this shit started. We got y'all. We coming, you know what I mean? We coming through for y'all. Y'all telling us that they telling y'all that. And you want to know why? Because y'all are their children. Y'all come from their line. So it will make sense for them to come holler at y'all. And you had to call on your mother and your father. You had to call on your creators because you can't handle us. Especially when we get activated. You're not going to be able to handle us. So you got to call in reinforcement. You have to call in reinforcement. Yeah, they ain't come holler at me. I know for sure they ain't come holler at me. And I'm not going to come holler at me. But anyway. So this is where they reside. This is what they call Nibiru. And then it says, if you zoom in, it says Nibiru right here. And then if you zoom in, it says Marduk right here. It says Marduk right here. So the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people think that this stuff is a myth. It's very mythological, you know. A lot of people, they don't believe in none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe it's a such thing as other beings that exist or other higher beings of existence like the archons, you know what I'm saying, insectoids and things of that nature, and the greys and things of that nature. Motherfuckers be like, nah, y'all, they bugging. Like when you hear people talk about that, they tripping. Don't they be telling people don't get into this. But I'm saying this for a reason because it's on this motherfucking map. It says Marduk. It says Nibiru. So clearly we got to think about, okay, well, Marduk, who the fuck is Marduk? And if this is Nibiru, why is it named Marduk right here? You know what I'm saying? Why is it Marduk right here? And who is Marduk? You know? Oh, Marduk. Oh, okay. Marduk, supposedly, who is the heir of Enki. He's the heir of Enki. Okay? He's the son of Enki. All right, he took over the throne. Okay, and this motherfucker here gave the order to come on and invade. Okay, go to war and invade. However, they didn't even know that this even they didn't know our district even existed. Okay, supposedly they had another Anunnaki descendant by the name of Alulu, who got kicked out of Nibiru. His ass went through the fucking belt. Okay, and he found Tiamat by accident. He found Tiamat by mistake. He technically wasn't even supposed to make it through the fucking belt. Okay, and when he found Tiamat, he figured, okay, he thought it was green, so he went back to tell Marduk and them, hey, I found, you know what I'm saying, I got district, y'all let me back on in, y'all give me a higher position, you know what I'm saying, and I got this whole district for us. This is what supposedly is the story, okay? If they exist on a 3D, a third dimensional plane of existence, because it's more than one dimension, all right? We are right now on the third dimension, okay? The plane of physical existence. Thank you, Angie, for the heart me. The plane of physical existence, okay? The only way you can get to the physical existence in this density, in this low vibrational, low moving, slow, this density, this matter, is to come into 3D for you to get this physical experience. That's the only way you could do it. You have to come into 3D, third dimension, okay? Anything above 3D is a higher dimension, which means it's moving faster, which means it doesn't operate the same and it doesn't look the same. Okay, so with that being said, what I'm saying is that we are the descendants and the children of Tiamat. Okay, they are Anunnaki, the descendants of Nibiru. Okay, we can get the fuck, like, we can get up out of here. Like, we are the true custodians, the real guardians. They are only 3D. They can't go higher than 3D. I don't think you get that part. All right, they can't go higher. They existed here. Like, they started to evolve here on 3D. They didn't come from a higher dimension and manifest. This will make us even more powerful. Alright? So don't give your motherfucking power to anybody or think that somebody coming to save you, because they're not. They're not. Now, you hear people talk about the ships. You hear people talk about the motherships, right? Okay? And a lot of people talk about the motherships. There's been a lot of talk about the mothership. All right, but I don't think that we really fully understand when it comes to the mothership. Okay, the mothership is in between the firmament. All right, the mothership is in between the firmament. Okay, it's on a higher, it's on a higher realm. Okay, it's inhabited on a higher realm. Okay, and the mothership consists of the Watchers. All right, or angelic or archangelic beings. Okay. And they operated in the Merkaba. It's the chariots of God. When they talk about the chariots of God, they operated in the Merkaba. All right. So when you hear that, you hear a lot of people talk about the mothership and that they see the mothership, but then it's like you can't really get a perspective of what we're saying, because check this out. They said that the firmament was placed. Okay. The firmament was not always here. Okay. I need you to understand that. Okay. Or we call it the dome. Okay. The firmament. Okay. It's energetic, all right? It's something that you can't see. But let me just give you a kind of a visual. So you got us. This is what I'm saying. We think that after the firmament, it is nothing else. We think that nothing exists after the firmament. It's the firmament, and that's the end all be all. However, that's not quite technically. That's not true. That's not true. All right, if they tell you that the firmament was placed over us, then that means that the firmament was not always here. And they said that the firmament was placed over us to separate us. All right, but now that the veil is getting thinner. Okay, the veil is getting thinner. Okay, which means that we can start to see things that are on higher dimensions. So you got us that's here in the physical right here. You know, the skies, woody woo. Then you have the firmament. Then you talk about the motherfucking mothership. That's covered, that's over this whole shit. And then after the mothership, which consists of the Watchers, okay, the Guardians, all right, you have the sky cities. Okay, the sky cities, which we talked about in Gnostics. Okay, we was talked about in the Gnostics. If you heard of, you know, this is a secret. Like, this is higher level esoteric knowledge. Okay, they try to, you gotta think, they're gonna always give us shit. They're not gonna give us the full truth. They're gonna hide truth. They're not gonna give us the full truth. They ain't gonna tell you the whole thing. They just stopped at the firmament. They gave you the knowledge of the firmament and they stopped right there. You have no idea. about the mothership, or a sky city, okay, which is crystalline, all right, the crystalline cities, which exist above. This is why I always say, open up the motherfucking sky, and people are starting to see motherships. Hold on. But they got you thinking, all right, the firmament, and then that's it. Like, it's water, the firmament, and then it's space, or it's water, and that's it. But y'all not even remembering the goddamn. This is why people starting to see the mothership, because the veil is starting to get thinner. All right, starting to get thinner. Imagine when the firmament gets thinner, things can. It's like things can enter. We can start to see shit. Okay, and then above the mothership is the sky city. Okay, that's above that. That really is what's really controlling all this shit, and don't want us even to have no parts. Like, they want to keep us in the low vibration. They don't even want you to make it to the sky city. Okay, but I'm gonna go back to 3D. This is beyond 3D. This is beyond 3D. They gave you the book. All right, it's not up for debate. They gave you the book, and in the book that they gave the folks, it talks about the fucking firmament, but it tells you nothing else. It stops at the firmament. You get no more knowledge. You get no more information. That's all they fucking give you. They don't talk to you about, and when they talk about the chariots, okay, this is what they talking about. But it's in code, like they talk in codes, but they not giving you no more. So if you go and do your own research, it's people that are recording, seeing sky cities in the sky, like a reflection of the sky cities in the sky. And I think I got a video of it too. Hold on. I think I have a video of somebody. Damn, they might have took it down. They might have took it down, cause now I don't see it. But I'll go back. I'll go back. I'll find it. I have it in my archives. The next time I get on live, I'll show y'all the video. But you could just Google. You could just put it in TikTok search bar. Sky cities. Okay, and it's gonna show you certain people being able to capture the reflection of the sky cities in the sky. All right. But what I'm saying is to say this: you gotta think. They're not gonna tell us. They don't tell us the truth anyway. They don't tell us the fucking truth. We gotta go find the fucking truth. We gotta put the puzzle together. We have to remember who we are. They ain't gonna tell us. They just told you. They told you about the firmament. But that's where the buck stopped. They don't get into none of this. Not even the pastors. Not even the preachers. Not the churches. The churches ain't getting into this. The churches don't even know. They don't even know. They don't talk about the firmament. But if you look here, thank you for the rules. If you look here, we on a late night. If you look here, right, at this coin, right? Because coins tell a story. So on this coin, and you could this is a whole different language right here. But if you research what this says right here, it says something about Jehovah. But anyway, this is the ships. This is some of the technology. All right. So I'm saying this to say this. The clouds, they always give you a little bit of truth. Okay. They had technology. All right. And this looked like one of the technologies that they had. Okay. They had the clouds, which I tell you, clouds are the ops. Like, clouds are not on our side, okay? Clouds are not on our side, all right? But if you see here, it look like this is a ship that's cloaked, that's spraying out clouds to cloak itself, okay? But it also has, like, fire coming out of it and lightning. And this right here looks like Tartaria. This looks like Tartaria, okay? And it looks like it was war going on, and they was setting their place on fire. Hold on. It says here that in the Bible, the God of Israel is described as fighting in a cloud and fire during the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. I'm going to say it again for the ones in the back. it says in the Bible, the God of Israel is described as fighting in a cloud and fire during the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. Now, boom, I showed you this coin, okay, in a cloud, right? You see the lightning shooting out, right? Now, I'm going to go here. Now, check this out. Hold on. I hope I can find the picture. Hold on. I got to go back this way. Hold on, y'all. I got so many pictures. But it said, hold on. I'm going to read that again, but I want to show you something. Remember Tartaria. They try to wipe out Tartaria. They try to erase our memory about Tartaria. Okay, they want you to forget about Tartaria. They don't want you to remember anything about Tartaria. Hold on, because then you'll remember the war. Where is it? Oh. Hold on. I have to scroll like carefully because I don't want to pass it. Thank you for your patience. Oh. Alright, TikTok be playing with me. Let me go here with it. Wow. I do not see the picture. Like, TikTok be deleting shit. TikTok really be deleting shit. Because now I don't even see the picture. This is gonna make me really end my live to go look for this picture. Because I showed the picture on live earlier today. But it showed how they melted Tartaria in the around the Grand Canyon. Around the Grand Canyon region. It shows how they oh, I have it here, hold on. Alright. Okay, here. My bad. Alright, so here. This is Tartaria. This is how it look now. Like, take a good look. This is Tartaria. This was Tartaria. Okay, you gotta do your homework. If you don't know anything about Tartaria, or you have to go do your own homework about it. But this is how it looks, right? Now, if you look here, this is how it looks now. They couldn't get rid of Tartaria fully, but it looks like this was melted. They couldn't, like, take away the structure of Tartaria. They couldn't take away the structure of Tartaria, okay? It looks like it was fucking melted, okay? And it says right here, hold on. Who you think built Tartaria? You call it, some people call it Egypt now. You know, Tartaria is Egypt. But it said that in the Bible, it said in the Bible that the God, because you have to understand that there's more than one God. See, people get it twisted. See, that's the thing. People think that it's just one God. So when they say God, it confuses people. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I'm going to go back to the coin, and I'm going to show you the coin, because these coins are real. Okay? And coins tell a story. When you see coins, when you look on a coin tells a story. So when you look on this coin, and there's more than one coin. You got this coin right here. This is Tartaria once again. This look like another ship. Once again, look like it's setting it on fire. But this is the one I was talking about. This right here tell a whole nother story. Okay? They called it the Alien War. But it says here in the Bible, the God of Israel is described as fighting in a cloud and fire during the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. Well, what the hell is this here? By golly gosh. Shout out to the God too. I don't know his name. Pushy Push. This is where I got this image from, but this is what this look like. And this looks like Tartaria. Okay, this looks like Tartaria. And it says that it set it on fire. Okay, and then when I seen the picture that I showed you, let me go back to the picture. Let me go back to the picture. If it lets me, so I can show you Tartaria and how it looks melted. Hold on, y'all. So this how you know we dealing with technology. We dealing with spacecraft. We dealing with technology. This is how they was able to win the war. This is how they beat us in the war. But if you look here, this look like the same goddamn ships. This look like the same ships that was on the fucking coin, okay? Hold on. So I looked and I'm like, hold on. I'm like, oh shit. This how this shit look now. This is like, yeah, this really, it happened. My point is that this shit, it happened. Look at this. It looks melted. Okay? This is how we got defeated in the war with the technology. Alright? And where is they getting the technology from? Well, who do you say? We said the Anunnaki was advanced beings who dealt with technology. We was more on the nature side. We was more on the natural side. They dealt with the technology. So I put two and two to fuck together. Who you getting technology from? Who you getting it from? You getting it from them. But you want us to think that the Anunnaki is coming to save us. If that's the case, then they would have been came. They would have been came and helped us out. No, we are rising. So they got to come back now. They got to come back. It's never, they said it was war in heaven. Okay, this is heaven. Okay, the war was here. Okay, but they never told you that the war stopped. They never told you the war stopped. So history repeats itself. History repeats itself until you finally get it. There's nothing new under the sun. We're going to go to war again. Again. We ain't even activated yet. But they can't handle us. So they got to call on them. And a lot of folks might disagree. A lot of folks might disagree with, and this is just how I see it right now as we speak. The funny thing about this journey is the higher you go, the more your perspective, your perception, and your lens changes. So yes, I'm saying this now. This is how I see things at the moment. I don't know if later down on my timeline it may change. Okay, I may get more uploads that'll give me more detail about this situation. However, this is just how it's looking because they're the ones making the announcements about the Anunnaki returning. Okay, I've never heard them talk about the Anunnaki. You're not gonna hear them. They ain't never talked about the Anunnaki before. You ain't gonna hear them. You ain't hear them talk about no Anunnaki 10 years ago. Why now? Why now? Because we're rising. Why now? Because we're rising. Okay? They know what time it is. Alright? We just have to wait for some of us to catch up because we all on different levels right now. So some of us is back here. We can't lead them by, they count in this war. So we got to kind of, we just wait for folks to catch up to speed. Alright? Look at all this shit they got going on. Look at the floods. Look at the earthquakes. Confirmation, I just burped. Look at the volcanoes that are erupting. Look at the chaos. Alright? Look at the weather change. Okay? Look at the chaos in the food chain. Like, these are all signs. Alright? Alright? Things are fucking on fire. Motherfuckers is protesting. It's a lot of chaos going on right now, okay? They're not going to show us these things. They don't want us to be in tune, okay? There's protests going on. Some of us don't even know that this stuff is even going on, okay? They want to hide certain things. They want to hide all this activity going on. It's a lot of activity going on up there, and it's a lot of activity going on below, too, in the waters, okay? In the waters, okay? This is the year of the 9, so they say, all right? This is the year of the 9, okay? Which we all know what 9 is about. 9 is about completion. 9 is about endings, okay? 9 is about the return of the feminine energy. Alright? So, I'm saying this to say this. They went to war with the custodians, the watchers, the guardians of this district. Guess who those people, who those folks are? Who are the real guardians? Who are the custodians of this district? You. So they went to war with us. So I don't see how they could be coming to help us. And I'm not saying that all Anunnaki are bad. You know, it's duality in everything. It's duality. It's duality in things. However, I'm talking to the ones that's supposed to be trying to get at us. Just like you have the Moors, okay? A lot of us know about the Moors, okay? Which we were the Moors. We were the Moors. M-U-U-R-S. The Moors, M-O-O-R-S. This is a whole nother story. That was a whole nother war right there. That was a whole nother battle that folks don't really know about. Okay? Because before, we was always warring with each other. So the reason why they wiped out Tartaria, okay, they wiped out Tiamat, okay, this stuff had to have happened. Okay, this stuff had to have happened because, and I say that it had to have happened because look, you can't do this. You had to do this with some type of technology. This looked like it was melted. Tartaria. And this is just a little bit of Tartaria, because Tartaria is all over the whole fucking realm. Okay, especially in the U.S. Alright, Chicago, New York. Tartaria is everywhere. Okay, you have to just peep the buildings. Okay, you have to look at certain buildings, look at certain structures. Okay, DC. And DC holds a lot of energy. It's a big ass vortex in DC. And them shutting down DC is a code. Okay, everything is code. We're on light code lockdown. So when you see certain things happen, that is a message, that is a warning, that is a sign. Okay, you have to be aware of these things. Okay, they shut DC down. All right, they sent the military out there. Okay, and then the point is, where did they send the military? They sent the military into the black communities, into the black neighborhoods, into the black communities. Okay, first. Okay, this is an energetic war. This is a spiritual war. Okay, that was for a reason. All right, you have to read between the lines. You got to be able to decode shit. Okay, my thing is, them folks that's doing that, the folks that's responsible for sending them out there, these are the folks who come from these folks who melted our shit, is what I'm saying. They're all connected. They're all connected. And this is what the fuck they left us. This is what they did. This is what they did to Tartaria. This is what they did. And if that ain't the truth, and if that ain't so, then why is it on this motherfucking coin? Why is this shit on these coins? What is this about if that's not the real? And then why does it say here in the Bible, the God of Israel is described as fighting in a cloud and fire during the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt? Huh? They took our damn, yes, they did the mining. Okay? They mined, okay? They took the resources from us. It shows the shit. And yes, in South Africa and in the Caucasus Mountains is where they kind of came out of. Okay? Alright? South Africa to be exact. It's not up for debate, man. Why is this then? If that's the case. Okay? Stuff like this. This is Tartaria. Alright? When you see, you know, different things of this nature. Hold on. Okay? And then it's levels to this shit because it's other realities outside of the fucking firmament. Okay? He peeped it. He seen. He said, "Oh shit! Wait a minute. We can go. Excuse me, confirmation. We can go past the firmament. We can go past the firmament. They got you thinking that the firmament is the end all, be all. It show you right here. And then he saw. Hold on. Everything's a fucking lie. They lied. He peeped the game. Oh. You call this the Truman Show, right? You call this the Truman Show? Said this is the Truman Show. You damn real this is the Truman Show. Nothing is what the fuck it seems to be around here. And free Rashad Jamal. You took Rashad Jamal and you gave us 607 Unc. We see the agents. We see what's going on. We see what's going on. But let me get back to this. Hold on, let me get back to the picture. Let me go back. But yeah. And this is what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like they got us. They have us contained. Now I don't know. You know, if that's if it's better for us to be contained, if it's better for us to have the firmament than to not have a firmament at all. I feel like, no. Take the firmament away. The firmament, it puts us on lockdown. It puts us in the containment, you know, but folks ain't ready for that, and we're not vibrating high enough anyway. Okay, the higher we vibrate, we can break the firmament, which is just the veil. Firmament is another way of saying veil. It was to hide it from the people because they weren't ready. Okay, they fell. They fell too far, too low. Okay, they fell too low. The firmament it was a seal. Okay, it sealed us. Okay, we're the below. We're the below. Okay, you probably thinking, all right, we're the above, and then hell is below us. Actually, no, we're the below. Okay, and the firmament is the seal. Okay, that hides, that covers what is above us. That's why I said in Enoch, in the book of Enoch, it mentions that the ends of the heavens, and the divisions of the firmament, and that the earth was under a fixed boundary. You know, and that this is where the watchers, okay, the watchers crossed this boundary. The watchers, you know what I mean? The watchers, they crossed that boundary, okay? They came on in, all right? The watchers, they broke that boundary, okay? It's like we're in a quarantine dimension, okay? We're in like a quarantine dimension. We're in quarantine, if that makes sense, in other words. Okay, and where we at, the trees and the mountains and the waters, you know, that shows that's like the representation of the kingdom. Okay, a level of reality, of physical, of dense, you know, of bound by cycles of life and death. Okay, this is where the cycles of life and death come into play at, because we're bound. All right, understand that. So this is why lately you hear motherfuckers talk about the mothership. Okay, you hear people talk about the mothership, and the mothership is another layer. Okay, like I said, the mothership is the layer of the realms and the watchers and the heavenly chariots. You know, of the chariots. You know, the chariots, the watchers. They descended to earth. You know, that's why they said they violated. You know, they came and violated. All right, and this is where you see on this coin. Hold on. Let me go back to the coin. They violated. Wait a minute. All these coins, you could pick any coin, but they came on down and they violated. They violated. But above the mothership, you got the sky cities. The highest, the highest is on a whole nother vibration. It's not physical. Okay, it's a city with walls of crystals. Okay, and sapphire. All right. It's a realm that's high in frequency. Okay, so we don't even know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they give us the firmament, and and that's it. They tell you the firmament, and nothing is higher than the fucking firmament. But I beg to differ, because guess what? Source is limitless. Source is limitless, and the buck don't stop there. The buck doesn't stop there. We're talking about source here. Alright? Yeah. So look. And you see it right here on the coin. That's why this is another reason why they really got rid of a lot of the coins. Okay? They had made motherfuckers turning their gold, they silver, turning all the coins. We need all that. We want you to turn that all in, because like I said, coins, on a coin, it tells you the story, a story about something that happened and during that time frame. Something had to happen. Something happened. And looking at this shit right here, you have to think, how the hell was they able to get rid of Tartaria? Okay, because the way Tartaria was made and designed, and the material that is made from Tartaria is made from the earth. The material that they use, that's why they couldn't fully wipe out Tartaria. They couldn't really wipe out Tartaria because Tartaria is made from the fucking earth itself. It's the most they could do. They gave us a mud flood, the water flood. Now here come the fucking fire. Okay, they melted the motherfucker. But the way they make it and the way they tell the story is that we was around here out of control, and God came down and had to strike us down. No, bullshit. It's bullshit. Bullshit. No, we went to war with their asses, and this is what they did to us. Because this right here, goddammit, this shit looked like it was fucking melted. Melted. It was melted. But they couldn't fully erase Tartaria. Alright. But anyway, y'all, that's just understand that this is war, you know what I'm saying? And the war never stopped. Okay, the war never stopped. Like, I don't know what we was thinking, but the war never stopped. But I'm out. I just wanted to pop in a little bit, late night with y'all. I'm gonna go ahead. But yeah, y'all know what time it is. I like to give a shout out to y'all. So you might hear me yell out your name. I'm just showing you some love. Thank you, Alex, for the rose. I see you. Alright. Okay. Thank you, Alien. Yes. Thought, I see you. Slime, I see you. Eternal love. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of information that they're hiding from us. Okay, it's a lot of information that they try to destroy. Okay, they don't want us to remember. Okay, so they do a lot of things to us to mess with our memory and to keep us from tapping in and connecting back to source inside, you know, and getting your Akashic records and remember who you are. Okay, they don't want you to remember who you are. Thank you, Frenchie. Thank you, Minky. Thank you. You know, and no matter what happens to us, guys, no matter what we go through, okay, during this timeline, you know, during this part of the movie, understand that everything happens for a reason. There's no such thing as a coincidence, okay? And that you came down here and you played your part in this movie. And see you back at the cosmos. Alright? Go on. Go on. Oh, you're part of the movie, whether you like it or not. You're here. So you could not react, or you can react. See, not reacting is also an action. When you don't react, that's still an action. Okay? You can be a supporting cast of the movie. Okay? You can be just the people in the background of the movie. Okay? But even if you take no action, you're still participating in the movie because of your existence in the movie. If that makes sense. So if you don't take action, you're still taking action. Do you get me? You're still part of the movie. Even the trees. The trees are frozen. The trees don't move. They still a part of the movie. Doesn't make you not part of the... You get me? Now you can decide to be a main character, okay? Or you can be a supporting cast. Your name will still be on the scroll, you know. It just won't be in capital letters. You had a little small credits at the bottom, you know, in the movie, and the scroll. Remember in the movies when they used to scroll? They used to scroll real fast. Your shit gonna be one of them little ass names at the bottom that you could barely see, you know, but you know you in there. I used to watch, you know, especially a good movie, you know, or when you go to the movie theaters, you know, and it's packed, you know, and it's a good movie, and everybody waiting for the movie, and everybody watching to the end, so you still gotta wait for everybody to leave. So while everybody's standing up to leave out the movie theater, you know, you got the names being rolled across the screen, you know, who played what in the movie. Oh, you late. We leaving. We on the way out. We on the way out now, Ed. We on the way out. There was no specific topic. You know, I just started off with talking about where we are. Okay? This is Tartaria. Alright, here. If you want to talk about this image, this is Tartaria. Okay? Before, and this is Tartaria now. Okay? So it looks like it was melted. Okay? And then we got into all the other antics. But anyway. Are you not getting the notifications, Minky? I don't know why you're not getting the notifications. That's because they're hating. You know, a lot of people are going to say it's complete nonsense. Oh, no, it wasn't on fire. Well, then explain why the hell does it look like this? Okay? Explain why it don't look like this anymore. Explain why it now looks like this. If it's such nonsense. Or if it's such BS. It's not. And I don't understand why people get so upset, you know, when we shine light on certain things. Certain people get so upset when you shine a light on things that need to be, that the light needs to shine on. It's not complete nonsense. Okay? This is why they don't want us to be, you can't take your ass in that Grand Canyon. Alright? You can't, they don't want you to even know anything about a portal that exists there or anything. They don't want your ass nowhere near there. Alright? And if your ass even think about it, or your ass try to go by the Grand Canyon and see how far you get with that shit. Now, if we all was to go, you know, as one, then there's nothing that they would be able to do, because activation time, and we would set this motherfucker off. All right? Especially some of us that have to touch certain areas, and we have to be on certain points or vortexes on this landmass. Okay, it needs us to touch certain areas to activate certain areas. Okay, Outside of Mississippi, or what you want to call the Mississippi, which is really the Nile River. The Nile River. Okay? Used to be activated. The Nile River. The Nile River used to be magical. Which they call it the Mississippi River now. But I gotta go, y'all. I gotta walk my dog. You know. So I just came on here just to holler at y'all for a little bit. And I'm gonna go on head back. But yeah, we have to start remembering. That's the secret. That's the key. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. Appreciate you. But this is how we start to get the answers that we're looking for. When we start to remember. When we start to connect back with the planet. Alright? The planet is alive. The planet can speak. The planet was frozen. The planet was silenced. Okay? The whole plane was silenced. That's why the trees shrunk. They done chopped off damn near all our fucking trees. And the trees are frightened. The trees used to sing. The trees are alive, okay? The trees are ancestors. And that's a whole nother note. Alright? When we connect back, we activate the planet. This plane of existence, which is really a plane of existence, okay? We are on the 33rd parallel, and parallels are veins, and that is the veins of this plane, of this planet. The veins, okay? That's what parallels are. That's why the Masons, you see the Masons, they always talk about 33, and then you also have 33 vertebrae. Okay, the 33, your spine, the Kundalini that goes down, 33. And it's your job to make that Kundalini, get that Kundalini to go back up Jacob's ladder. Okay, you have to activate and get your Kundalini to go back up Jacob's ladder. So where they get Jacob's ladder from? Okay, you fell. Alright, you fell. I'm gone. I love y'all. Ancient, I see you. Thank you. Go on. Thank you, Ancient. Carbon, I see you. Q, I see you. Awakening, I see you. Thank you, I am. I like that I am Ben. I see you, Charlene. Divine, I see you. You know, and they try to wipe our history and wipe the truth and get rid of a lot of things, but it's only so long that you can hide the truth. The truth will always reveal itself. Okay? No matter how much you try to hide the truth. Okay? The truth will always reveal itself. You just gotta be able to see the truth. Okay? But it will reveal itself. You have to be able to see the truth. You have to be able to see the truth. You have to be open to receive the truth. You have to be open to receive. If you have resistance, you won't get it. Alright? Tartaria. They ain't gonna never mention that in school. I know they ain't teach me about Tartaria in school. Thank you for the heartbeat. I never even seen this map before. Never even knew we had two suns. They don't teach us that we have two suns. Okay? Why you ain't tell us about Asgard, about these portals that are by the ice walls that you don't want us to even know anything about? Go on. But y'all go on. Y'all have a good night. I will see y'all when I'm supposed to see y'all, which is divine timing. Everything is divine timing. So on divine timing, I will see you again. What you saw? What you saw 2 times? What you saw? I mean, yeah. I mean, they all agree that they don't want us to even discuss the ice walls, get into the ice walls, and they're hiding a lot that goes on in the ice walls and beyond the ice walls. Okay? Alright? The ice walls was not always here. Okay? It was one landmass, and the ice walls was created through the fucking technology. Okay? During the war. Okay? There's more than one sun. They tried to hijack that too. But so yeah, this is like the zoom in. Like I said, this is us. This is where we are. We're in the center. We're right above the black sun. We're on top. We're over the black sun. Okay? And the black sun is responsible for the whole 3D. Okay? And remember that 3D is a lower level. Okay? It's levels to this shit. 3D is on a lower level. Okay? You come from 5D and higher. Okay? You were not created here. This is why you come through your mother's portal to get here. Understand, this is why you come through your mother's portal. This is why you come through the portal. You travel. You landed here. This is why. Because you were not created here on 3D. Okay? You don't understand that. Okay? You come from higher dimension. You traveled here. Literally, this is the ship. The body, this is the ship. The avatar is the ship. You traveled here. You come from a higher dimension. Okay? Like I said, and these motherfuckers here, they come from 3D. Okay? They evolved 3D. Makes you higher. Makes you higher. Thank you for the heart, me helpful soul. Yes, you gotta think. Anything dealing with like ice, you know, they have winter technology. Okay, they have nanobot technology. Okay, it's not natural. Okay, this is why we don't get along with the cold. Well, the ice. The ice. Okay, it's not natural. Ice it stops. It freezes up things, which means it stops movement. Ice stops movement because it's frozen. Okay, water flows. Water flows. When you freeze, you are stopping the flow. It's not natural. It's not natural. Freezes things. Okay, stops the flow. Ice. Alright, and depending on how cold it is, ice also burns. Okay, ice also burns. Okay, it burns. Ice burns. You get frostbite and all types of situations. Okay, alright, we don't get along with that. I keep saying I'm leaving. Every time I say I'm going to end it, I keep going, don't I? But yeah, it's not natural. Okay? And this is how they were able to beat us in the war, in the invasion. With technology. Okay? We are natural people, you know? Crystallized crystal beings. Crystalline. This is why you have crystals. You're made of crystals as well. Crystal, you're made of gold, crystal, carbon. You are the highest technology that exists. You are the highest technology that exists. You are the highest technology that exists. Alright? I love y'all though. The magnifier, thank you. Alright, you are the highest technology. Okay? The highest. None higher. You're a source in physical form. I gotta go, y'all. Peace. Oh, it won't let me go. There you go.